My name is Helen. I'm the mother of a young man with schizophrenia, and I campaign for the legalisation of cannabis. My son actually is badly affected by cannabis. When he became ill, he was beginning to use more and more, and I didn't know at any time about any risks associated with cannabis mental health risks, until he became involved in the mental health services. And I felt quite resentful that doctors, they said, oh yes, you know, cannabis, that's the worst thing to do for his illness. And you go outside and people say, oh, cannabis is completely harmless. So I thought there's something going wrong here. For the last few years I've been talking, mainly through the wonders of the internet, to a range of people, carers with children with similar problem to my own, lots and lots of cannabis users on various internet sites, cannabis users, moderate cannabis users who don't have problems, cannabis users who do have problems, cannabis users who actually need it as a medicine. Okay, so there's a whole range there, and also researchers and mental health professionals. So there's a whole lot of range of discussions, a lot of disagreement, as you would expect. But what I have found is there are some points of agreement, and I'm going to list these. One is most people actually know people or are themselves moderate cannabis users who don't have problems, and I think this is something people who are aware of the problems tend to forget this group, and I think it's absolutely essential you don't forget this group. If you start talking about just all the risks and all the terrible things about cannabis, you get people that use it saying, what, this is nothing to do with me, I haven't had to suffer all these things, and therefore they don't believe you, and the message of specific risk does not get through. Okay, so that's the first one. A lot of moderate cannabis users who don't have problems. The second one is that there is agreement. Most people do not want children to use cannabis. There is an understanding of risks for the developing brain. How to discourage children from using that is harder. But I feel that, you know, as adults, non-users and users, we can work together to support children in not using it. And in fact, the numbers seem to be going down, so I don't know. Actually, I think the best people to advise to discourage children from use is adult cannabis users. Perhaps a radical way of thinking, but it isn't, it just makes sense. Something else that most people agree on is that cannabis does have particular medical benefits, and there's a lot of resentment that the government still doesn't allow cannabis to be used as a medication. So there's a lot of different things that there is agreement on, and I believe that rather than taking horrible polarised positions that get nowhere, somebody says, oh, it's wonderful, it's helping me, and somebody else, it's terrible, it's destroying my life. They push against each other and we get nowhere. The important thing is to work together. Okay, and I think we can work together. I don't think papers like the Daily Mail help. The way news reports are presented makes a great deal of difference. If something is presented looking at both sides, you get better feedback. If it's the polarisation of the issues that I find most difficult, it just doesn't work. The main thing is, if as a carer, as a parent, I do want people to know that cannabis does have risks. It upsets me a great deal when people say it's harmless, but there's no point trying to get message across if all it does is alienate these moderate cannabis users, alienate people who need to use it as a medicine. So it's really important to work together. Okay, and I think just finishing up, working together and listening to each other's point of view is the way forward. Thank you.